Well, hello again, YouTube. I'm in my car this time. Again. Made a video this morning that was a VR to Trucking Piper and Carolina Rose. Um, and then I wanted to make this one that was separate. I needed to be inside for the other one because Carolina Rose had requested to see our puppy dog, Luna. And when I'm out in my car smoking a pipe, Luna is obviously not out here with me, so. But I wanted to make this one as a VR to Perkins Pipes. First, real quick, the housekeeping. I'm smoking my Brian Doran. Is it that way that you can see it? Nope. Oh, hello. Doran Pipes. Rookie mistake. You can't see it. I just dumped ash all over myself, so that's fun. In it, I call this my dwarf pipe, by the way. It's not a church warden, which is typically what people think of when they think of a Lord of the Rings type pipe. Sorry, I hit the steering wheel, so the camera shook. But I call it my dwarf pipe just because it's very kind of, well, the rocky texture is one thing. It's beefy. It's got some weight to it. And it's kind of, I don't know, I just picture a dwarf smoking something a little militaristic, which is what this reminds me. I love this pipe. Big old bowl on this pipe. And I'm finishing up a bowl of Big and Burley. Thank you, Greg. So, Perkins Pipes. It's been a few weeks ago now, but he made a video called What Were You Made to Do? Where he's asking, how did you know, or when did you know, when did you discover your calling? When did you know that what you wanted to do in your life? And I wanted to make the video because I really didn't. And it's still, even the job that I'm doing now that I've had for a lot of years, is not necessarily something I consciously chose. Growing up, I was very much pushed to go to college. Anybody who grew up in the 90s knows that, or at least in Tennessee, I imagine everywhere, every teacher from kindergarten to a senior in high school, every teacher told you, you got to go to college. If you don't go to college, you'll never get a good job, you'll never be anything. On top of that, my parents, in my family, on my dad's side of the family, nobody had ever gotten a college degree. So it was kind of set in stone that I was going to college. My dad is a plumber, and he has been his whole life. And while he enjoys what he does, and it served him well over the years, he did not want me in the trades. Have we talked about it after the fact and think maybe I should have gotten into a trade? Yes. But it is what it is. So I went to college and I got my degree. I switched majors in college, I think like 5-6 times. Could not figure out what I wanted to do. Initially, I went in for computer science and then realized I would drive myself absolutely insane staring at code all day. Wanted to, at one point, get a math degree. I ended up with a math minor, but it's because I only enjoy really one aspect of math, and that's algebra. I went all the way to advanced abstract algebra 2. Calculus, geometry, all that, not a fan of. At one point was going after an education degree. Did not enjoy that. Even though I still ended up being a teacher for a very short time. That was the worst working experience of my entire life. the amount of respect I have for public school teachers went through the roof after that. I always respected them, but dang. Anyways, I ended up with something that I decided I needed to graduate. I ended up taking 5.5 years to get a 4-year degree because I switched so many times. And by the end, I was like, I gotta pick something that I enjoy and just graduate so I can be done. So I ended up with a bachelor in sociology and a minor in math. I enjoyed sociology a lot, just the study of society and how groups of people interact and adapt and just behave in general. And it was a really cool degree to get. I learned a lot of really interesting stuff. But as you probably are aware, a degree in sociology doesn't do a whole lot for you in the job market. A bachelor's degree, you could get a master's and a doctorate and do quite well, I'm sure, but I was done with college. So, right out of high school, I did want to start working. And a friend of mine worked at a call center, a merchant processing center, which is where, if when you're trying to run the card at the point of sale system at a store, and it gives you an error or whatever, they would call us and we would try and figure out what's going on. Or if their systems went down, they'd call us and we'd give them an approval code and stuff like that. So I worked there for the full 5.5 years while I was in college. It was a great job because, I was allowed to do my homework and stuff while I was there. And it worked out well. Graduated college, moved down to Florida, where I'm at now. And I graduated from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, where I grew up. And then I moved to Florida. And decided at that point I wanted to try and find something that I enjoyed doing. And hopefully that related to my degree. That is during that time period where I taught for a very short time. That time period spanned to about 1.5 years. Looking for something that I wanted to do and that was close and convenient. And, you go 1.5 years without working. You decide, okay, it's time to just find something. Well, the only experience I had was a call center, so I found a job at a call center in Orlando for one of the toll road customer service centers. Unfortunately, I didn't live in Orlando. I lived an hour and 20 minutes east of Orlando. So that was unpleasant, driving back and forth. I stayed with my cousin sometimes because he lived over there. He was a teacher. And I worked there for about 9 months until I found a job much closer to home. Because we had moved to Melbourne at that time. Still about 1 hour and 20, just away from Orlando, just south. South and east instead of directly east. But the way you had to go to get to where I was, I had to go out of my way and then back up. And yeah, so anyways. And that's where I've been ever since. I've been there. May 5th of this year will be 11 years. So I didn't really have as I imagine most people don't, I didn't really have a moment where I said, I want to work in call centers for my whole life. But that's just kind of what's happened. I'm not on the phones anymore, thank goodness. I was able to get my first position on the back end of the call center in quality about 1 year after I started working there, because of the experience that I had. And I've been off the phones ever since. Now I just do a lot of the back end. So what I've been doing for the past almost 4 years now is in our knowledge base, which is where I write the material that our agents and clients use to do their jobs. It's reference material, job aids, instructional manuals, etc. So some people, when they tell you, oh, my career kind of fell into my lap, that's kind of what happened. You know, I got the job straight out of high school just because it was a good place to work. It paid well. It was close to home. It let me do my homework. And that just kind of led into, here's what I'm doing now. If I had my choice, is it what I would be doing? I don't know. I can't really answer that because it's kind of all I've ever known. With the exception of very few short stints in other places, call center is what I've done my entire career life. I've been in call centers for over 17 years now. It's kind of what I do. So, you know, in my current position, I'm lucky enough that I get to work from home, which is super nice. I actually just applied for another position within the company in a different department. Similar, except that I'd be writing training materials instead of instructional materials. So instead of writing materials for our agents and clients to use after the fact when they're already on the floor and taking calls and stuff, I'd be writing the materials that are used to train those agents before they hit the floor. Instructional design is what it is. So I'm hoping that that works out. I think that would be another interesting facet of the field to learn. But yeah. So there, like I said, there wasn't really a moment where I just said I want to work in call centers. But it just kind of worked out that way. So yeah, that's my story. Enjoying the rest of my day off. I took Friday and Monday off for my birthday weekend. I had probably the best birthday weekend, one of the best for sure, if not the best birthday weekend of my entire life this weekend. It was absolutely fantastic. My brother and I got a hotel room over in Orlando, Kissimmee really. Stayed with our cousin, or hung out with our cousin for a couple of days. I got to go to a restaurant that I haven't been to since Tennessee because that's the closest one, and that's Shoney's. If you've never had Shoney's breakfast buffet and there's one around you, I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. Got Mexican food on Friday night, the night that we got there. Had local pizza joint Saturday night. Walked around, went to a couple of card shops, Goodwill store, just walking around areas, just having a good time. Played a crap ton of games. Mainly Marvel Universes, which is basically a D&D game in Marvel. And Marvel Champions, which is a card game in Marvel. Played a couple other just silly, fun games. One that I really liked called Memorandum? I don't know, something like that. It was interesting. Basically, the premise is the person leading the game, which was my cousin, has to try and get the other people playing to guess a specific culprit and then a specific location. But the only way he can do that is by using a stack of vision cards. So he gives you visions, and you have to deduce from the visions he gives you what person he's trying to get you to guess. And the visions are very vague and abstract. It was a neat game. It was a really neat game. And played a couple others. I don't remember the name of one of them, but it was literally just like a little board with a ramp on either side that went towards you. Excuse me. And you have this little magnetized hand that you put a little ball into, and you pull it back and let it go, and it shoots, and you have to try and knock. There's 3 white balls in the middle and 1 black ball up top. If you knock all 3 white balls over to the other side, you win. If you knock the black ball to the other side, you win. And it's kind of wedged in there, so it's harder. Or if you get because you start with 4 yellow balls. If you get all 8 yellow balls on the other side, you win. So that's just a real quick, goofy little game. But yeah, we had so much fun. So it was a good weekend. But all right, I'm gonna get off here, enjoy the rest of my day off. I think I've got some packages to pack and send out. I hope y'all have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time. See ya.